Welcome to Fresh Off the Boat. We are in season 2, and I'm delighted to be with Siddharth Mishra, a student I've known since 2008,
My
before you
God.
were applying to college in the US and Canada. And you chose to go to Canada, and I think it was a pretty wise decision at that time. So this segment will pretty much focus on your experiences there. And I know you further on went, and it's been 14 years, so you did many things beyond your high school and then college years. But we'll also cover another segment maybe on your experience at the Yale School of Management for the MBA program. So let's dive straight in. Why don't you introduce yourself, Siddharth?
Yeah, sure. First off, thanks for having me. So I grew up in Delhi. I did my high school in Delhi, and sort of after that, was looking at opportunities both in America and in Canada. As luck would have it, and this is quite unique, I'm assuming, in terms of some of the folks that you worked with. My family actually moved to Montreal as I was moving. So that's why I kind of decided to move to Canada with them, and then chose to study at McGill. Did 4 years of econ over there, and then with another major in international development and a minor in math because I decided to torture myself. But after that, moved into banking, did some corporate banking in Canada, and then eventually made the move down to the States.
Fantastic. So I think that interesting, decision making was not in your hand at the end. Finally, just like the whole destiny was laid out for you to be in Montreal. So tell me, what about Montreal? You grew up in the heart of Delhi and then moving to Montreal. What's the city like? What's the setting? There's so many great things I've heard. That's on my bucket list to visit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what's interesting and unique about Montreal? There are two things that are really unique about it. Firstly, it is very much like Boston, I would say, a very student friendly or student forward town, right? Like there are a lot of universities in the downtown area, both English and French speaking. So that creates a very young and vibrant sort of core that you can interact with, both within McGill, which is obviously a huge school in and of itself, but also with the broader student community in Montreal. The second piece is the fact that it is bilingual. So that is a very unique experience. I know folks that came to Montreal, to McGill for a student exchange from Australia, from Europe, for the purpose of studying French in a place where they could safely study and immerse themselves while having the comfort of speaking in English with folks whenever they wanted to. So it's a very unique experience that way. I used it to learn a little bit of French myself as well. But yeah, it's a very different experience relative to the rest of North America, I would say.
So I'm now switching gears to talk about academic experiences and how you think studying at McGill for undergrad economics and maybe the minor you did in math. What in your opinion is different from the way college, typical Delhi University, Mumbai University students experience from the academic standpoint? What was the curriculum like, and how maybe it's slightly different from the US options also for undergrad?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually, in our case, it was a little bit of a mixture of the Indian model and the American model, where you actually get sort of selected into a school, an overall school. But then within that school, you can take all sorts of courses. You can pick and choose your courses and build your own sort of majors and minors according to that. So I had a lot of flexibility in which courses I took. But at the same time, like I knew I was getting a Bachelor of Arts, and then I wanted to sort of explore within that space, like some of the majors and minors that I wanted to do. It is a whole process to transfer to a different school. And when you get admitted into the schools, you get admitted within programs instead of getting admitted to the school and then choosing what you want to do after that.
So as far as going deeper into say studying economics, there's still that choice that you can sort of branch into what you did, development economics at that point, and then the statistics minor. it's all under the Bachelor's of Arts program and the same college I'm living. So
Exactly.
what are like typically, the experiences of students are when they're choosing college, they're also looking at size and the size of the class, and also overall what the classroom experience is like, if the size is really large or small. What's it like? Is it again closer to the US model where you can choose classes which are small or large, and or is it just large like any public university?
So that's actually interesting. My first class that I ever attended was Psych 101, which notoriously is the biggest class in almost every university everywhere. It was a theater. Basically, it was bigger than most of the theaters I've been to be honest. Like it's 700 kids in one class. There was no seats for those 700 kids on that first day. So you had these huge lectures by rock star professors, but then you also had small classes. So you had the option of doing that. Obviously, more of the small roundtable type classes open up in senior years when you're not doing intro programs. But even in my first year, I had a communications class that was just the 25 of us on around a table. And it was more around group discussion and stuff. Obviously, being a 40,000 student university, they tended towards more of a classic classroom experience with less sort of conference style classes. But you can, because you have the option of choosing whichever classes you want to, as long as they fit within your majors. You had the option of majorly choosing smaller classes if you wanted to, and getting more of that one-on-one attention with the professors.
The other thing I noticed when browsing through your LinkedIn profile was you really got involved in activities, societies that were linked with what you perhaps thought at that point, what you would be focusing on, getting banking jobs and finance. So how is it like? How are societies run? You also took up some vice president positions. So what's the organization of a society? What the objectives are? What opportunities do you get to network and get career ready? So share something about that and what worked for you in which society, and yeah, and maybe our students who are in high school, they would want to know more, and when they are applying, they can also get to perhaps connect what their current interests are with their future goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually interesting because I mean, I did a lot of things because I really wanted to, and then within that, I tried to add value in however I could. Really, like in terms of understanding what clubs are out there, you'll have like club day or whatever, when you'll have all the clubs put up their little stalls and like talk through, so that you'll sign up for all of these listservs and stuff. So you'll get to know more about the clubs right when you come to school, and you'll start attending them that way. And you'll get a sense of what you're interested in based on that. So obviously, you might have some interests from school, like I did, and whether it was chess or economics or writing and stuff. And you can build on that, but you really then once you have that, then you just want to kind of see what skills you want to build within that. So I know I worked a lot because I was one of the few people that was interested in finance. I would usually be pigeonholed into that treasury role. And like that kind of helped me in terms of like, I'm working with numbers, of balancing out balance sheets and stuff, while at the same time working, getting to enjoy and like be part of a community that I wanted to be part of already. So, that kind of helped me out. In terms of building out my career, building out a network of people that you kind of want to work with was very, very useful for me, whether it was peers or alumni, and like building out those connections, both through clubs and through just your network within your classes that you have. I think that was really useful for me. I used to always joke that we had gone through, me and my classmates had gone through the fires of all of our classes, so we can vouch for each other. It's when it comes to work.
Great. So again, now we'll move to other aspects of living as a student in Montreal, of course, you mentioned a few things about the city and what it brings to the table, with having so many other colleges and universities in the downtown area obviously adds to the experience. But what did you start learning about adulting and growing up, and what gyan or life lessons would you want to share with and audiences going out of high school in a sheltered environment like you had in Delhi and then becoming independent? What is it that you need to watch out for?
Well,
What is it that you sort
number one, learn how to cook or expand your culinary sort of like acceptance of what you want to eat. So that's the biggest one. I think that like food is such a big part of the Indian culture and like unites families so closely, that just like missing home, ghar ka khana becomes like a really big part of it. Really, the other piece of it is, you have to, or I had to at least be very open-minded about meeting new people and like being deliberate about like expanding out my friend circle. So I didn't just hang out with people I knew from high school who were also at McGill with me. And that really opens up, a bunch of different, whether you do it through the clubs that you're attending or you just do it through the classes that you're attending, but like finding people with common interests really helps you build those lifelong bonds that you hear about in the movies and from college and stuff.
What about the diversity of campuses like McGill at your time, and how do you think it's changed over a period of time? So, did you feel fitting in or getting to know people from different cultures was just natural, or there were cliques that performed, being that it's a big university? What was it like for you, and what were your lessons or takeaways from appreciating diversity and cultural sort of backgrounds of other people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you when you're out of your element and when you're in a foreign country, you tend to sort of stick to what you know. So obviously, so my first friends and my my closest friends at the time when I first started were either Indians or Pakistanis. But when you realize that, I think that what happened over time was you realize that like basically everyone who's here from a different country or even from a different province or something is really in the same boat, and you build those connections with these people. And yes, I'm out for the first time, but so are you. Like, so are all of us, and we're all learning to grow up in this place together. And there is a sense of common bond based on that. And I think that that was really valuable to us.
Fantastic. And the last part of this segment is more to do with your career sort of readiness and your first internships, or that ended up in your case becoming a lateral sort of job, which you were there for more than 3 years, I guess. So, what is it like in terms of support? And were you in the you were in the Montreal area working in Ottawa too. So what do you think the university brought to the table, or it was mostly independent work to get the right internships and finally
No.
jobs?
So in a lot of these cases with major companies, so the one that I work for, CIBC, was one of the 5 major banks within Canada. And a lot of these companies organize sort of meetings, like a big conference, big presentation that they talk through the merits of their job, their company, and so on, and the opportunities that are available. And that was all organized by McGill. McGill was, the career services were the ones that kind of helped me identify what kind of roles I should be looking at. So having advisors that like work with you in terms of your career preparedness, I think that was really important. And then once you have that, and once you attend these presentations, you have to sort of build a rapport with the folks that do these presentations in some of these meet and greet type scenarios. And almost always they're all alumni, or a large chunk of them are alumni. And alumni, again, there's a different type of bond where they're really looking to help you as well. Like, yes, they want the best candidates for their job, but they're rooting for for you to succeed, as a fellow McGill alumni. So I think that it was like everything. It was the career services. It was the fact that you're in Montreal, where there are jobs available, and the fact that there's a huge alumni base that is willing to help you. I mean, I'm trying to pay it forward. I still get calls from current McGill students asking about, my current role and like, what skills they need to be able to do my current role and such.
Great. So thank you so much, Siddharth. I truly really got a lot more information that I had about studying in Canada, the opportunities of studying at Montreal, and the things that you did. So what we also have not covered in this segment is your life after your first job at CIBC, and then moving forward, applying for our MBA program and getting admitted to the Yale School of Management, doing the summer internship in the private equity space, and then finally sort of being in the Bay Area, working at Apple for almost 4 years now. So we'll cover that in our next recording of the podcast, but looking forward to staying in touch, and many more high school students who are very keenly looking at options in Canada, don't miss out on listening and perhaps even reaching out to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.